finding people were getting bad.
Tea baggers?
That's why I'm moving to Canada. Just that. Okay, I'll pay more taxes.
Those tea baggers. This one has a whole intro, so wait till she says starts now.
All right, see, that time I got it right. Okay, our new intros.
It was on that now.
I was on that one. You know, we're going to leave the last segment alone. We'll pick it up next week again because Mike's going to get his list together and Hector's going to draw his crayon drawings and bring them back in. And we're going to have a... we're going to see if we can have an intelligent debate about that. One of the things that's driving me crazy this week, you know, Mike and I have argued that certain things with space and NASA, and they talk about waste and budgets and so on. NASA's now floundering, and you know they're having a hard time figuring out the space station may go empty.
Right, I was reading about
Oh,
that.
and I'm actually looking for somewhere to move. This one works out.
Dude, that would help you move. That's where you're going, man. I'll take the week off.
I'm selling condos in Mars. Anybody want one?
Well, you know what's funny is if you can get to the space station, the trip alone, I think, is per individual, it's $65 million.
That's nothing. That's my back pocket.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, because
Well,
obviously,
wasn't
you know,
there something where a few Russian citizens actually paid that amount to go up?
As a matter of fact, the guy that owns
Was
Cirque du
it-
Soleil did that. I
Wasn't
think
it
it
only
cost
10,
him like
10 million or 25
no, I think it
million?
was like 18 million.
Because there was
Yeah,
that
it
one.
was
There was that
like that.
one dude from a boy band. You remember?
Cirque
From-
du Soleil, the owner. I don't know.
No, no,
I don't know what
boy
boy
band,
band
no,
you're
no,
watching,
no.
but I'm
No,
talking
no,
It's
about
like
that.
one of like
Joey Fatone, wasn't it?
no, I don't know if it was him.
One of those.
Yeah,
one of those guys actually paid to go up there and,
Right.
and
It didn't work out.
But he didn't pay that. What did he pay? Like 10,
Yeah, it was like
10,
10,
$8
something
million
like that,
dollars, somewhere around there.
All I gotta say is I'm gonna keep my comments on how the hell you guys know what this guy's name is.
Okay,
Which one?
you guys. Talk to
You
this
know
one
about
over here.
first words out of your mouth, boy band.
Well,
Because
no,
he
no,
was
no,
the
because-
first one to sign up. He was
Yeah,
one of the
that
first ones.
was it's extremely that was well publicized, and also you know with a lot of the NASA pages. But what was sad is we talk about all the cuts and the things that we do here in this country, and you look at with you know in the last week alone, China's announced that by what 2015 or 2020 they're going to have the most modern army on the planet. You know they just China.
Oh,
Yeah, they got
They-
the rights to Iron Man, right?
Besides the rise to Iron Man, I think they're also going to have one of the most technologically advanced aircraft carriers in the world that they're getting ready to put out to sea trials.
Princess Cruise, right?
Well, no, it's a little bigger than Princess Cruise, actually. It's going to be a big deal.
Norwegian Cruise.
the good thing we know is that since it was made in China, it's gonna suck.
Probably seen the first thing that comes out.
Their
huh?
own sailors are gonna start dying of freaking lead poisoning. So whatever, let them build it.
Oh, we're so going to get comments on that one.
Anyway,
All right, but what I'm saying is,
And no refund for you, my friend.
wow,
you get
guys.
special soup.
Wait a minute, wait. Why did the on air light just go off?
Yeah, I know. Do somebody just, you know. Now, along those lines, though, I don't know if you guys read because you don't follow that side of the tech world, but they did a documentary. And Arthur was killing himself. I'm not sure what's killing him, but they were doing a documentary, and one of the B-roll that they were running shows the screen of a Chinese computer with an IP address from America, and it shows the hacking software that they developed
Yes.
to hack the
yes,
U.S.
Yes.
So,
Well, did you see the other commercial where it shows that it's a classroom college setting, and the professor is having this discussion in language, in Chinese language, but he's showing different empires. You know, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, you know, and then at the end it shows the U.S. and it shows the state capital. How they're what did it say? I'm trying to remember the caption at the bottom that they thought that selling. They thought that by selling their debt to us, we would not own them. Something along that nature.
You know what? The first thing that I'm thinking is, wow, we are so well prepared for this show today.
Oh yeah, well that's a problem. But
As always.
I agree with you. And where I was going with all of this is now we're talking about abandoning a project that we've been working on for 12 years
Right.
because we keep doing certain cuts. And I know that certain people are impassioned about military cuts and some of the other things. But what troubles me with the way we do things when it comes to technology, I'm not sure that we can afford to back off.
I don't think we should not back off.
Well,
But you know, I don't know. It's
But it's a
troublesome
double-edged
to
sword
be.
because if all of a sudden we're reliant on the Soviet capsules.
Right.
And when they were sending up food and
Right.
supplies last week, there was a glitch and it
Right.
blew up.
Right.
So now all of a sudden they're saying they know what the problem was. Luckily, that wasn't any there were no people on board that they were going to shuttle up to the station. Not to say that the shuttle program was perfect; it did have its.
But it was one of the best ones out there. You know, if you compare it with China, Russia, and
Sure, but we let it go.
exactly, and I think that was a big mistake.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what troubles me is that I look at a lot of the stuff that we're doing. You hear about these other countries getting stronger, getting better, getting more technologically advanced, and we seem to be backing off at a time when I don't think that we should be leading up. I'm not saying that we need to overstep our boundaries and go crush everybody and police the whole world, but some of the stuff that's gone on in the last few months bothers me. That when I read, we may have to abandon the space station altogether.
Well, that's why that that international relations that Gary and I were talking about the last time we were here was that, hey, we're so involved in other people's business that we are ignoring and neglecting our own, and we are not taking the time to really reinvest in our education, our futures education, our kids' education, our technology, our medical, our health. We're just so behind the eight ball that, I'm not surprised that all these other countries are taking the education that they're getting in the U.S., taking it back to their countries, and using it against U.S. government, U.S. technology, U.S. advancement, U.S. everything. And that's the frustrating part.
Well, the part that I don't understand is, okay, I know what's happening with NASA, but this was called the International Space Station, okay, and it was built. It was the United States, Russia, Canada, Japan, Brazil, and all the countries that compose the European Space Agency.
He knew all that off the top of his head.
No, I didn't. I just looked it up.
I was going to say,
Okay.
I was about to back you up.
Wow,
Like, he
my
knows
God.
stuff, but he's actually smart.
No, only because I knew there was a consortium. I just didn't know the country. So I'm saying, why is it that it falls on us to try to save it? I don't understand why all
It
these other
doesn't
countries
though.
are not doing,
No.
doing anything.
You're absolutely right. But see, in this particular instance, they followed your rule of it doesn't fall on us. What I'm saying though, that in this instance, where I think it should, because our reliancy on another country and their version of the rocket that they're using is unstable, and they couldn't even send supplies up there. So if they can't get something up by November, they're saying they're going to have to abandon it. And what I'm saying is I don't like depending on someone else to get us into the future, because I don't like where some of this is leading to. Like
when are the next shuttle supposed to be built and put up? It's going to be what 2018 or
2016
something?
roughly.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to go do a 4-year gap because they also thought part of the logic was, and this is bipartisan, so I'm not blaming anybody, where they thought that the private sector might have already had stuff that they could put in place, and they don't necessarily have it. I also don't think that they thought budgets were going to be as tight as they were. The shuttles went longer than they were originally planned for. They didn't replace them because they're too expensive. So what I'm saying, though, is that in this particular case, I'm not comfortable with so much of what we're trying to do.
Relying on other countries.
Relying on
to
other
do it.
countries.
Right. No, we agree with you on that.
When all of a sudden, we don't even really have Big Blue, for example. Big Blue is owned by Lenovo, which Lenovo is based out of, I don't even know what country that is now, but, it's one of those things
Who's
where
Big Blue?
IBM.
Oh.
I was thinking something completely.
No,
I was
yeah,
thinking of like a
what is it?
Viagra pill or something.
Why is your mind always in the gutter?
I'll give you a perfect answer. I'm still thinking of the porta potty.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you? But so that's what I'm saying is that I'm just, I don't necessarily want to be the police for the world, but again, I just don't like relying on someone else.
I just think all these other countries need to step up, man. But that's the way. Anytime the United States is involved in anything, we always take the lead, and people just rely on us. They're like, people just sit back and rely on. The Americans will fix it. The Americans will take care of it. So now that we actually stopped doing that, nobody's stepping up.
Well, yeah, and that's my point, is that it's going to be a challenge to see where it goes. But all that money, 15 years in the making,
Yep.
we put up the station, and they're already talking about how they're going to retire it, when it's only going to have another 10-year lifespan, I think, and then they're going to crash it into the ocean.
And that's where the heartfelt, the emotions come in rage, because there was a documentary that just came out of those workers that are being let go because of these cuts at NASA, because these certain programs are being cut, there's a gentleman who they set up when the first shuttles launched. You know, this couple set up a shop to sell merchandise out of Cape Canaveral. The husband was an engineer at NASA. They let him go because these projects are being cut and they're being terminated. He can't survive being in that retail shop, the shop that the wife actually manages and controls. He's like a fish out of water. And it's heartfelt because, you know, great minds, you know, all this time in trying to get his degree, he's a scientist or whatever, to really not have the ability to, you know, do what he's been put on this earth to do, and you know, all these things, you know, falling back and then having to rely on something. It's heartfelt. It's a shame, and I hope that we can definitely come up with some solutions quick, because it's something that we cannot let go of. The space is still yet unexplored, and we need to have that ability to go out there and claim whatever is out there.
You know what? I think we have enough aliens here in America.
You know, I wonder how long it's going to take him to get there. Guys, we got to wrap this up. You've been listening to the Three Guys Rant on adrenalineradio.com. I want to thank you for listening. Please tune in next Wednesday at the same time. We'll be back. Everybody have a great Labor Day.
See ya.
Let's jump out. You guys got to start.
Disconnect, please.
Can you disconnect me, please?